control to me.
Think you know rock guitar? Think again. These 12 underrated guitarists didn't just play notes. They reshaped rock forever. From cult heroes you might have missed, to innovators who rewrote the rules, all the way to quiet legends who changed the DNA of music. Stick around because we're about to dive in. I remember the first time I heard Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger. That jagged, grinding tone on the opening track grabbed me like nothing else. Thayil didn't just play guitar, he built landscapes. Every riff was heavy, dark, and weirdly hypnotic. He experimented with odd tunings and scales that weren't typical in rock, giving Soundgarden a sound that felt futuristic, dangerous, and alive all at once. Back then, nobody outside of Seattle seemed to notice, but anyone who really listened knew this guy was reshaping heavy rock for the 90s. Every note he played was a blueprint for grunge and alternative guitar that would dominate the decade. He wasn't flashy in the way Van Halen was, but his impact? Unforgettable. It was Woodstock 1969. The crowd was massive, the sun was setting, and the air smelled like anticipation. Then, 10 years after, hit the stage and Alvin picked up his guitar. When I'm Going Home started, something inside me shifted. That solo? Fast, fiery, precise. It wasn't just technique. It was pure energy poured into 6 strings. Alvin was a speed demon long before anyone called it shredding. His blues roots were deep. But he injected a kind of velocity and excitement that made rock feel alive, urgent, and unstoppable. Even if mainstream history doesn't put him on the same pedestal as Hendrix or Clapton, anyone who's studied live blues rock knows Alvin was a phenomenon. Then there was Frank Marino. I first heard Dragonfly late one night, headphones on, and it felt like the walls were vibrating with sound. Frank's style is psychedelic, heavy, and incredibly precise. He could rip through blazing solos with blistering speed. But he proceeded to break down and cry. Yeah! But he always made sure every note sang. In the mid-70s, while rock was branching in all directions, Frank Marino was quietly crafting his own kingdom of tone and virtuosity. Guitarists who came after, especially in early metal and hard rock, owe a debt to his unrelenting technicality and fearless improvisation. His music might not have topped charts, but it's the secret soundtrack of rock innovation. Finally, there's Lifeson. If you'd asked me to describe a guitarist who could simultaneously hold a band together and push it into uncharted territory, I would have just pointed to him. Listening to Rush's albums like 2112 or Moving Pictures, you notice something special. Lifeson isn't just playing solos. He's sculpting entire songs, blending heavy riffs, atmospheric textures, and complex rhythms that no one else could touch. What struck me most was how he made complexity feel effortless. You can hear the prog influences, the jazz undertones, but it never feels showy. It feels essential, like the backbone of the music itself. Anyone who dismisses him as just a prog guitarist misses the fact that Lifeson redefined what a rock guitar could do in a band context.
Quite so late.
I first heard Bill Nelson on an old Bebop Deluxe record, and it felt like stepping into another dimension. His guitar tone wasn't just music. It was futuristic, shimmering, and unpredictable. Every chord and solo seemed meticulously calculated, yet somehow it felt effortless.
Going round in my head.
Nelson was doing things in the mid-70s that no one else was touching. He combined glam rock style with experimental textures, adding layers of sound that were way ahead of his time.
Singing sad choirs for camels and house mystics.
Listening to him, I realized guitar didn't have to be just about riffs or solos. It could create atmospheres, tell stories, and challenge the listener. Every note was a glimpse into a sonic world that was just his own. Then there was Robin Trower. I remember the first time I put on Bridge of Sighs. The guitar tone hit me immediately. Warm, thick, and saturated with emotion. Trower could take a simple blues scale and make it feel like a cosmic journey. What amazed me most was how he fused Hendrix-style expressiveness with his own melodic sensibility. He wasn't flashy for the sake of speed. Every bend, every note, every sustained chord told a story. Listening to Trower, I felt the power of guitar as a voice, as a storyteller, something I hadn't fully realized until that moment. Blue Oyster Cult's hits like Don't Fear the Reaper were familiar, but Buck Dharma's guitar work went far beyond the songs everyone knew. I dove into their deeper catalog and realized Dharma was a master of crafting riffs that were both heavy and intricate, melodic yet mysterious. He had this uncanny ability to blend rock, pop hooks, and proto-metal intensity, giving each song a unique personality. As I listened, I started noticing how much of modern hard rock and even metal owed its DNA to his approach. Dharma didn't always get the credit he deserved, but every guitarist who came after was unknowingly following his path. Finally, there's Mick Taylor. I remember listening to Sticky Fingers for the first time and being completely blown away by the solos. Taylor wasn't just filling space, he was elevating every song, lifting it into something almost classical in precision and beauty. His technique was flawless, but what set him apart was how melodic he was. Each lick had purpose, each solo told a story, and every note seemed to flow naturally from the emotion of the song. He took the Stones' blues roots and expanded them into something more sophisticated, more expressive. And yet, he rarely got the attention he deserved compared to Jagger or Richards. The first time I heard Chicago's Chicago Transit Authority, I was completely caught off guard. Terry Kath's guitar tone was raw, soulful, and utterly fearless. On tracks like Introduction and the live jams, he wasn't just playing notes, he was communicating emotion through the instrument. What amazed me was his versatility. One moment, he could be screaming out a blues-inspired solo. The next, he was weaving jazz-infused lines that felt almost impossible. Listening to Kath, I could hear why Hendrix supposedly admired him. There was a courage in his playing that made every song unpredictable, alive and dangerous. He wasn't flashy in a commercial sense, but for anyone paying attention, he was a revolutionary force.
Steve Marriott was a different kind of powerhouse. I first caught his work with Humble Pie late one night, headphones on, and I could feel his intensity like electricity. Marriott wasn't just a singer. He was a guitarist who could burn through riffs with fiery precision, blending rock, soul, and blues into a style uniquely his own. What stuck with me was his rawness. Every chord, every solo had guts and passion behind it. Listening to him, I felt like I was sitting front row at a club in the early 70s, watching a player who was giving everything he had to the music. Marriott taught me that technical skill is important, but heart and energy are what make a guitarist unforgettable.
Hey, RockAndRoll community. Before we continue, let's have a real talk for a second, bro. You know, this isn't just a channel to us. And I hope it's not just a place you come to watch a video and then forget about it. This is a community. It's a place where we get to dig up the secrets of rock and roll, share our favorite riffs, and celebrate the artists who maybe didn't get the love they deserved. Right now, only about 1% of our viewers are subscribed. We can change that together and grow this community. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button with the notification bell on. When you do, you're not just helping a channel grow, you're becoming a member of the RockAndRoll family. You're signaling to us and to YouTube that these stories matter, that this music is worth preserving, and that this community is a place you want to be. Subscribing is your way of making sure you're always in the loop. It means you'll be the first to know when we unearth a forgotten legend, drop a new countdown, or dive into a piece of rock history you've never heard before. So if you're a true fan of the lore, if you get that same feeling of discovery that I do, then come join us. It takes 1 second to be a part of something bigger.
Then there was Rory Gallagher. I'll never forget the first time I put on Irish Tour 74. Rory had a way of making the guitar scream, cry, and sing all at once. His blues roots ran deep, but he wasn't just copying Chicago or Clapton. He was carving his own voice. What struck me most was his connection to the crowd and the music. You could hear him improvising endlessly, pulling riffs out of nowhere, and yet everything felt natural. Rory Gallagher wasn't just performing, he was sharing his soul through 6 strings. And that's why every guitarist who hears him feels like they're learning a secret lesson in intensity, tone, and honesty. Finally, Mick Ronson. If you've ever heard Bowie's Ziggy Stardust, you know that behind the theatrical glam, the driving beats, and the dramatic vocals, Ronson's guitar was the glue holding it all together.
And may God's love be with you.
I remember listening to Starman and realizing the solos weren't just embellishments. They were narrative moments, carrying the emotion of the story Bowie was telling. Ronson had this rare combination of technical skill, melodic intuition, and creative bravery. He could play a soaring solo that lifted a song to epic heights, then drop into rhythm parts that were subtle, yet completely essential. He wasn't always the most famous name on the stage, but anyone who studied his work knows Mick Ronson shaped the sound of glam, rock, and even the future of alternative guitar. The journey doesn't end here, Rock Warrior. Watch this next.